It was around March of this year, and we were supposed to go to this like cinema in our local city from our school. It was basically like this school trip for our literature class that we needed to take. It was basically about the authors from our home nation from like the late 19th century. So I mean like it was gonna be a little bit interesting since I like history, of course, and since I am quite the nationalist when it comes to propagating our country and making it more well known. The country of Slovakia, after all, it is my homeland. And so, of course, I am constantly opened towards new ideas, new knowledge when it comes to my home country because I love it, no matter what. I'm always open to receiving new knowledge about our history, but only from books which actually know what they're talking about instead of angry Hungarians on the internet. But that's a topic for another day. And so, as I was walking in the morning to our local train station to get to that cinema in our local city, and I hopped on the train, I sat down, and right in front of me sat four guys who were really close friends with my past friends from primary school. And they started chatting and everything, and they chatted the entire ride. And guess what? They even got off the fucking train the same time that I got off it. And during the entire time as they were talking, I just thought to myself, they don't remember me, do they? Now, not in a bad way, of course. It's not like I have bad relationships with them or like something bad happened, like I disappointed them or I made them angry on me, and so we haven't talked since. No, no, no. We have good relationships. It was just that the way that I transformed myself since the start of my self improvement journey in summer of 2023. And keep in mind, this was in March, so like 6 months ago already. Jesus Christ. Does time go by fast on self improvement when you have something to do? I have already made so much progress when it came to that point that I was basically like a whole. But still, I was still really good in the health desire. Like my physical health, like my biceps, they were growing eh, decently, and my abs were more and more visible, my legs were getting bigger. So yeah. And when it came to my mental health, it was on a whole another level than it was in March of 2023. So that was a huge win. But still, when it came to my financial decision, like my fulfillment, like my online business that actually gave me a sense of happiness and fulfillment when I did it, and that actually reassured me that I was destined to become successful. Yeah, I didn't have this YouTube channel at that point, so yeah. And I also haven't read any books on social skills at that same time, but that had nothing to do with talking to them. It was just that they got into such huge state of flow that I was really embarrassed to break them off just to say hi. And yeah, there was also that risk of them not recognizing me, which would be even more awkward. So I just decided to let them be. And I just listened to them talk through the entire train ride. They were laughing, they were complimenting each other because two of them were just graduating middle school, so they were like 19 years old already. And during the entire train ride, I was just looking out of the window, just thinking about all the different conversation topics that I could open a discussion with them. Or I was just thinking about how long do I still need to spend on self improvement to be worthy of having friends like that? To have friends that I can actually talk to about anything and be in a total state of flow. Well, that was something that I would find out a little bit later. But luckily, I wouldn't have to daydream for a little longer because after like 18 minutes, we arrived at the last station, which was like the main train station of our local city. And I got off and I rushed to the cinema. Like I literally didn't even look back. I didn't even say hi to them. And when I go to the cinema, it didn't get any better. All of my classmates, whether they were female or male, they all had one of their buddies with whom they would talk to, and I had no one. Like, yeah, sure, there was this guy with whom I used to talk about Minecraft all the time. But yeah, we kind of fell off after I got onto self-improvement. But don't worry, now that I've refined my social skills, I can talk to him about anything. It is just that, at that time, I haven't read any book on social skills. And so, out of the blue, I created this new desire to read books about social interests and to refine my social skills. Well, that was certainly interesting, but didn't think much of it at that time. Like, yeah, sure, I was just lonely standing there whilst there were like 100 people from our entire school just chatting and talking to each other. And I was just standing there silently, trying to strike a conversation with one of my male classmates that wasn't even working. And better of all, once we actually got to the cinema itself, I watched the entire thing, of course. It was quite good actually, and if I had the chance, I would go to it once again because it was really well done. And we ended like really, really early. And you see, there's this one train that goes back from the local city all the way back to my train station that I got onto in the morning where I met those four guys with whom I wanted to strike the conversation with in the beginning of the story. And we finished watching that film at around 9:10 a.m., I think. And so, the first thing that I thought to myself, and that guy with whom I used to talk about Minecraft all the time, because he travels by trains also, we just asked ourselves, is it worth it to still go there? Yeah, of course it is. I mean, the train station was like 1 kilometer away. It is nothing for us. I mean, I have really long legs, so I can get there in like 10 minutes if I wanted to. 9:15 a.m., 9:20 a.m. And and we still didn't have any new information from our teachers telling us if we could go or not. But I decided to fucking book it with that friend because we noticed a few of our classmates getting out of the building, so we rushed out of that building and we just completely just meticulously focused on just getting onto our trains that were supposed to leave. And so I actually got on it, the 9:34 train that was supposed to take me back home. And I just barely got onto it because it left like 2 minutes after I got onto it. So I just barely made it. And so I would be able to get home sooner and I would actually be way more productive right now because at that time I was reading multiple books that I wanted to finally get done. And now I had the opportunity to read all day. Nice. I get to read all day whilst every single one of my classmates are hanging around in the city, having the time of their lives. Possibly even them also. Yeah. When I was sitting on that train and taking that train ride home, dude, the depression that I felt once I realized that I had spent the past 9 months of my self improvement journey refining myself, waking up at 5 a.m. every single day. And yet, the one goal, the biggest motivation that was driving me forward, that were the contacts, like the friends with whom I could form long lasting friendships with. The goal was still nowhere in end sight. That just made me fucking demotivated. And from that day, I realized something. When you're going through a depression on self improvement and you're forming like these new desires to stop what you're doing right now and focus on something new since this isn't working anymore, then yeah, sure. You should always follow your heart. Remember, this is self improvement. This is not anyone trying to force you through anything. Like, it is your decision to wake up at 5 a.m., to exercise, to meditate, to gratitude journal. That's completely your own thing. No one is forcing you to do that. However, on that day, I was still reading books about like marketing and stuff like that. And so I just said, fuck it. And so I added multiple books on communication, like how to talk to anyone, the 92 ways, on how to strike a conversation with basically anyone. That was a really fantastic book that everyone should read. I got so many new tactics from that book that I used to this day, and I get so many new fulfilling conversations from that trick alone that the author teaches us. And I also read How to Win Over Friends and Influence People. That's such a fantastic book. You literally need to read only two of these, and you'll be literally set for the rest of your life. And luckily, I wouldn't have to wait that much longer for me to actually start going out with some of my closest friends. Because not so long ago, basically like before summer started, since like June of 2024, I started to go on these like weekly adventures from time to time with these four friends with whom I go to the gym from time to time. And I already told a couple of the stories that we made along the way. Like, for example, if you watched my video, how this quote changed my view on hard work or something like it. I told the story about how I took this like bicycle and we drove through this valley. And yeah, if you know, you know. Basically, that was a story from one of the times that we went outside, just just the four of us, to have fun. And do you know what I have to say right now? I am grateful for the fact that I experienced that strong sense of depression when I was on that train ride home and during the entire experience as a whole, because it made me realize something. It made me realize, and it was a huge fucking realization. Like if it was literally life kicking me in the balls, just saying, TR, you dumbass. Life isn't all about just the wealth and health desires. Life is about the relationship desire as well. And I have been deeply neglecting that desire for the past 9 months. Just imagine how much progress I could have made if I just was a little bit more patient and a little bit more desiring when it came to relationships. And I actually read some more books on communication, like those two that I already mentioned. Like, let's say, all the way back in November of 2023, when I needed this the most, I could have made so much new progress so much quicker. But of course, the universe has a plan for you. You're in good hands. Because if you're regretting the decision that you've decided to neglect your relationships and that you're depressed right now because of it, and for example, you've been overworked by the work that you've been putting onto your self improvement journey during one specific thing, let's say, like you've been meditating, waking up at 5 a.m. for the past months, and yet you've been getting sick of that because the main goal is still so far away from you. But that's completely okay. The factor alone that you're regretting this decision to neglect something that you're now depressed of, it already makes you forgiven, meaning that you don't have to care about it anymore. Yeah, sure, it is something that cannot be just winded up again, but remember, this is self improvement. You're just discovering yourself and becoming the best version of yourself. Of course, you won't have all of the answers right away. You need to make those mistakes. You need to go through the trials and tribulations. You must take the wrong path and then suffer months of progress because that is what will build you into a strong man of character and values. You see, depression is the feeling of emptiness, like you're missing something. And once you identify this one thing that is holding you back, that is demotivating you, that basically makes you want to quit, you need to identify what it is and then dedicate some time to it. Like, for example, how I dedicated some of my free time that I could have spent on basically reading mental health books and financial books. I dedicated that time, that valuable essence of mine, my productivity and my discipline, to read some books about communication and negotiation. And then I applied them to my daily life. And now I have a strong group of 4 men with whom I go to the gym on a regular basis. Okay? So always remember the goals that made you start your self improvement journey and dedicate all of your time, of your waking hours, to get closer to them by every single day. Okay? Otherwise, you'll get this huge reality reminder, just like I got back in March. Bro, was I depressed for hours on end on that day before I realized what was actually wrong. So just visualize yourself setting that goals once again, like you've already set them months ago when you decided to get onto your self improvement journey and meditate back on that feeling of desiring to actually get them for the rest of your self improvement journey. Try keeping that feeling alive, the feeling that you felt on the start of your self improvement journey, the authentic happiness, and try to carry it for the rest of your self improvement journey. Just always remember what you started for and keep your life aligned to make progress in those desires of yours. But they need to be authentic, of course, not inauthentic. Because otherwise, from time to time, your subconscious mind will be hinting at something that is wrong inside of you, and you will need to spend hours searching for it. Valuable hours that you could have spent developing yourself. Okay? If you want to join a community where we discuss our mental health and with like minded men who share the same values as you, the same goals, the same likes and dislikes, who are working tirelessly on themselves every single day to surpass you in the race of men, but at the same time, they will give you advice like blood bonded brothers, then you can join our Discord clan in the description. I know that if you're watching videos like these and willing to take action, then I know that you have way more potential than you think you have. We like men like you, so please harness your true potential and stop being held back by the 99% of people that only care about instant gratification activities. We live for the long term and we do not forget our values. Okay? But besides that, you can like the video, you can subscribe if you like, join the email list in the description, and get yourself a free ebook about mindfulness. Comment on which part of the video you liked the most, and which part of the video you will implement into your daily life. Don't forget to join the clan, you're still invited, and become a part of the family. And with that being said, thank you very much for watching this video, and remember, no one is better at being you.